Design for me is so much about making the best of what you already have, and this small stone house perched on a mountainside in Greece is the perfect example of that. This project was sent to me by a viewer who was set to demolish it because he just couldn't see how to fit his family in. So I'm going to show you how I developed a design that could save the building and fit his family. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name's Gemma, I'm an architect, and you'll find this channel is full of my designs for remodeling tricky existing buildings, and unlocking design problems is how I help my clients too with my hourly consultations. So this building sits in a small traditional village, which has loads of character and history in these old stone walls. The owner inherited the building and really wanted to be able to move his family in full time, but found the layout was just too small and difficult to work with. You can see why this location captured the owner's imagination. The house is one of many built of local stone walls that are 70 centimetres thick and positioned high up on a hillside to give beautiful views out across the valley into the hills beyond. But as the client rightly identified, the building is not set up to make the most of its incredible location. With only around 30 square metres of usable floor space on each of the 2 levels, the rooms feel cramped and constrained. The thick stone walls and small windows leave the interiors dark and disconnected from the incredible setting outside, but those features are also key to the local architectural character, and enlarging all those windows is not encouraged. As well as the small floor areas, the ground floor is completely separate from the first floor, with no internal staircase linking the two. And that means that the 2 floors have both been converted into tiny single-room apartments, which is far from ideal for functioning as a family home. In both of these apartments, the living spaces are positioned at the back of the property, meaning the house effectively turns its back on its most valuable asset, which is the amazing location. And with limited openings to the outside and little access to the exterior terraces, there is no meaningful interaction between the indoor and outdoor living areas of this property. So we have a structure with strong bones and a spectacular site, but a layout that constrains its use and ignores its location. So our aim here is to be connecting with the exterior site on all outward facing sides to start reaching out to those surrounding hillsides and creating journeys through and around the building to draw the views in and connect the internal and external spaces. So currently you can see that there are 2 isolated stories of the building that are each operating as independent apartments. And they are also accessed from completely different ends of the site. The top floor is reached through this gate onto a small terrace off a road higher up the hillside, while the bottom floor is accessed via the gate further down the hill that takes you through a courtyard to a lower door. There is also a room on a 3rd floor at the bottom, which is less than half the main floor area and looks like it may once have been used for storage. So as our focus for the design was about connecting both vertically and horizontally through the building and site, we decided that the existing floor plan was too constrained to do this satisfactorily. At the side of the building though, there's a wedge-shaped gap between the main building and the large retaining wall of the hillside. The access from the road is at the top of it on a terrace that's stepped quite far back, and otherwise it's not really somewhere that you would spend time in if it remains part of the grounds. So this became our opportunity for both increasing the amount of accommodation and creating those horizontal and vertical connections. So the main point of arrival would be focused on this larger access gate at the lower end of the site. And from here you can see there are several layers of terrace moving around different areas of the building. On this lowest terrace, we've taken the opportunity to introduce a pool, which wraps in front of the building and keeps out of the way of the main arrival point. Where we've enlarged the terrace above, we've added some concealed rooms which could house a WC and a small laundry or storage room. This smaller lower level room then becomes useful as a poolside lounge area where you can shelter from the heat, both under the overhanging terrace and in the depth of the stone structure. What the position of the pool also does is to create a small private terrace around the corner, hidden away from view. And this is accessed only via the bedroom in this extended portion on the side. From there, you enter a small landing which has a shower room off it that is positioned into the acute corner of the wedge. And this is where you find the internal staircase that takes you up to the middle level. This leads you into another bedroom with its own access to a terrace, again taking every opportunity to be moving outside towards those views. This terrace wraps around the front of the building, where ideally we would lower the sills of these windows to connect the terrace to the living space inside. But if that wasn't allowed, you could still enjoy sitting out here. All the way round to the other side, and you join up with the terrace that we saw when we first arrived through the gate. With the area having been enlarged by moving the stair to one side, there's now room for a dining table and long outdoor kitchen, which extends in line with the kitchen inside. And that then lines in with a wall of joinery to conceal some storage and a TV for the living room, which now enjoys a larger floor area and a chance to look out at those views again. This takes us back through to the landing, where we have a final staircase that overlooks this internal courtyard, which can be accessed for maintenance from a glazed door. Up to the top floor, and you can see that there is now a slightly larger terrace that takes you to that other entrance gate. And a new window where the trace of an old one has been filled in currently. The top floor has been given over completely to a master bedroom, which faces the views through openings on 3 sides. There's space up here for 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, but we wanted to create a hierarchy in the bedrooms, so we're showing this to you as a master ensuite with a dressing table. Before I show you the final space, I want to just take a moment to talk about Brilliant, this video's brand partner. Brilliant is an interactive learning platform that teaches through doing rather than just passively watching, and that is because their highly visual and impactful mini lessons get you actively using skills in complex subjects like maths, science, programming, and AI. All of Brilliant's content is created by an award-winning team of teachers, researchers, and professionals from MIT, Stanford, and Google, and this method of using the skills to learn them is actually proven to be 6 times more effective than simply watching lecture videos. I feel like this learn by doing method really suits me, and keeping up with STEM subjects as they evolve in this fast-changing world helps me feel prepared for the sort of thing my kids will be learning before too long. If you're here because you also just love to learn, I'd really encourage you to give Brilliant a try. You can get it for free for a full 30 days if you use my link, brilliant.org/Gemma, or scan the QR code on screen, and you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. So out here, we've created one final new terrace, which would be private to the master bedroom and would be another chance to expand the internal spaces outwards to make the most of the spectacular view. I'll soon be launching my course on how to design like an architect, so head over to my website to get early access to that. It'll be your chance to master my step-by-step design process for remodeling existing buildings, to go from total beginner to confident designer in 5 highly focused modules. Do also check out all of my other videos if you enjoyed this one, and I will see you soon.